I am continuing my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am reading in a chronological order of events, not according to publication or volume, so I will be skipping around a bit as I move along. So we've been reading a lot about Zeniff and his people. We read a little bit about Alma and his people after they separate from Zeniff and Zeniff's people. We read a little bit in the Words of Mormon about the reign of King Benjamin. Now we return to Zarahemla. We are down in the year 124 BC. So the people of Zeniff have been separated from Zarahemla for about 75 years. Alma and his people have been separated from Limhi and his people. These two groups of Nephites are now, Limhi is in the land of Nephi, Alma is in Helam, and they've been separated now for 15 years. So now we're going to go back to Zarahemla, and we're going to read about Benjamin's last address to his people. And we start this in chapter 1. King Benjamin teaches his sons the language and prophecies of their fathers. Their religion and civilization have been preserved because of the records kept on the various plates. Mosiah is chosen as king and is given custody of the records and other things. And now there was no more contention in all the land of Zarahemla among all the people who belonged to the king Benjamin. So that King Benjamin had continual peace all the remainder of his days. And it came to pass that he had 3 sons, and he called their names Mosiah, and Helorum, and Helaman. And he caused that they should be taught in all the language of their fathers, that thereby they might become men of understanding, and that they might know concerning the prophecies which had been spoken by the mouths of their fathers, which were delivered them by the hand of the Lord. And he also taught them concerning the records which were engraven upon the plates of brass, saying, My sons, I would that ye should remember that were it not for these plates, which contain these records and these commandments, we must have perished in ignorance, even at this present time, not knowing the mysteries of God. For it were not possible that our father Lehi could have remembered all these things to have taught them to his children, except it were for the help of these plates. For he, having been taught in the language of the Egyptians, therefore he could read these engravings, and teach them to his children, that thereby they could teach them to their children, and so fulfilling the commandments of God, even down to the present time. I say unto you, my sons, were it not for these things which have been kept and preserved by the hand of God, that we might read and understand of his mysteries, and have his commandments always before our eyes, that even our fathers would have dwindled in unbelief, and we should have been like unto our brethren the Lamanites, who know nothing concerning these things, or even do not believe them when they are taught them, because of the traditions of their fathers which are not correct. O my sons, I would that ye should remember that these sayings are true, and also that these records are true. And behold also the plates of Nephi, which contain the records of the sayings of our fathers from the time they left Jerusalem until now, and they are true. And we can know of their surety, because we have them before our eyes. And now, my sons, I would that ye should remember to search them diligently, that ye may profit thereby. And I would that ye should keep the commandments of God, that ye may prosper in the land, according to the promises which the Lord made unto our fathers. And many more things did King Benjamin teach his sons, which are not written in this book. And it came to pass that after King Benjamin had made an end of teaching his sons, that he waxed old, and he saw that he must very soon go the way of all the earth. Therefore he thought it expedient that he should confer the kingdom upon one of his sons. Therefore he had Mosiah brought before him, and these are the words which he spake unto him, saying, My son, I would that ye should make a proclamation throughout all this land among all this people, or the people of Zarahemla, and the people of Mosiah who dwell in the land, that thereby they may be gathered together. For on the morrow I shall proclaim unto this my people out of mine own mouth, that thou art a king and a ruler over this people, whom the Lord our God hath given us. And moreover I shall give this people a name, that thereby they may be distinguished above all the people which the Lord God hath brought out of the land of Jerusalem. And this I do because they have been a diligent people in keeping the commandments of the Lord. And I give unto them a name that never shall be blotted out, except it be through transgression. Yea, and moreover I say unto you, that if this highly favored people of the Lord should fall into transgression, and become a wicked and an adulterous people, that the Lord will deliver them up, that thereby they become weak like unto their brethren. And he will no more preserve them by his matchless and marvelous power, as he has hitherto preserved our fathers. For I say unto you, that if he had not extended his arm in the preservation of our fathers, they must have fallen into the hands of the Lamanites and become victims in their hatred. And it came to pass that after King Benjamin had made an end of these sayings to his son, that he gave him charge concerning all the affairs of the kingdom. And moreover, he also gave him charge concerning the records which were engraven upon the plates of brass, and also the plates of Nephi, and also the sword of Laban, and the ball or director, which led our fathers through the wilderness, which was prepared by the hand of the Lord, that thereby they might be led, every one according to the heed and diligence which they gave unto him. Therefore, as they were unfaithful, they did not prosper nor progress in their journey, but were driven back and incurred the displeasure of God upon them. And therefore they were smitten with famine and sore afflictions to stir them up in remembrance of their duty. And now it came to pass that Mosiah went and did as his father commanded him, and proclaimed unto all the people who were in the land of Zarahemla, that thereby they might gather themselves together to go up to the temple, to hear the words which his father should speak unto them. So there's a lot of stuff here. First of all, remember, in Omni, Benjamin had to fight the Lamanites. Then in the words of Mormon, we read that there was a kind of civil war, that he had to put down these contentions, and then he had to fight the Lamanites again. But after that, he had peace for the rest of his life. Now, I would assume this is 20 or 30 years where the Lamanites don't come. Now he's getting old. By my calculation, he's in his mid-90s. He wants to make sure that the kingdom is safe and preserved and everything flows well, so he's going to appoint a king. Of course, the other sons of King Benjamin aren't mentioned again after this point. This is the only time we get mention of Helorum and Helaman here. But I find it interesting. They're taught to read the brass plates and the plates of Nephi. But what does it say here? Why are they able to read it? Lehi, having been taught in the language of the Egyptians, therefore he could read these engravings, meaning the brass plates. So the brass plates were written in Egyptian. They were not written in Hebrew. This might be why Nephi decided to write his record, as he says, in Egyptian, according to the learning of the Hebrews. It was following the tradition of the tribe of Joseph. But then they're going to call everybody together. The other interesting thing here to note is we know he's bringing everybody together. He's going to give his final address. This is to smooth over passing the crown to Mosiah. But what does he say there? He's sending out the proclamation throughout all this land, among all this people, or the people of Zarahemla and the people of Mosiah. Mosiah found Zarahemla probably about 100 years ago. The people are still living separate. We have the people of Zarahemla and we have the people of Mosiah. They're still two separate, distinct people. They are not fully united yet. They still have one king. Mosiah was king over both groups, and they're all living in the land of Zarahemla. But the people are still identifying themselves as either of Zarahemla or of Mosiah. They are not yet unified. And this is a significant thing to mention. Keep it in mind because it will come into play again in a few more chapters. So next thing we read will be Mosiah's address. So I'll see you there.